Hey, what's happening, y'all? Let's get to it right quickly here because this has to be addressed. Now, I've seen a few videos on this and by a few uploaders, so I thought I'd drop my 2 cents on this situation. Not with the recent issue with 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather, which is has come to light once again after they've patched up their beef for the last few years, whatnot, but. This also, if you take that issue and correlate that to the eternal issues that I'm about to address about Floyd Mayweather Promotions, then yes, that's definitely worth warranting. Now, here's the thing. The question is, what is going on with Floyd Mayweather Promotions, okay? Now, not from a financial perspective, but what is going on from an internal perspective where a lot, let's say, more than a handful of his fighters are unhappy over there, okay? Or former fighters, I should say. Now, this all began with the Luis Arias situation, which many people seen that tape that went out many years ago, a few years ago, about how Luis Arias was blindsided by the fact that he was being let go by Floyd Mayweather Promotions, and he didn't appreciate the professionalism how Floyd Mayweather handled that situation when he was being let go. Okay, so that was when you could say the problems began. Okay, then you have certain fighters like Mickey Bay and Jillian Love failing drug tests and whatnot, and Mickey Bay hasn't been active ever since that drug testing situation he's that he's had, and now you have you have fighters like Savannah Marshall and Ashley Theophane who left the Mayweather Promotions because they were promised dates on their contract that weren't fulfilled by Mayweather and his team. Okay, Savannah Marshall, who recently fought on the undercard of Hughie Fury and Sam Sexton in the UK about a couple weeks ago, he came out and said, "Look, my career can't wait. I'm a prospect right now. There's much expectations for me." This is only paraphrasing what she says, and there were just so many fights that were promised me, they just fell through, and I just can't, I can't wait on that. And pretty much she wasn't being disrespectful, or she didn't has showed she had any sour grapes towards Mayweather Promotions, but at the end of the day, this is a business. I have a career, I got to feed my family, I got to make money. Even though there's not a lot of money in women's boxing, but I have to make money. I need fights. I need to be active. And Theophane came out and said the same thing. Said, "Look, I'm no longer with that organization. I was promised dates that they on my contract. They never fulfilled them, so I had to move on. Plain and simple." So this is not just a Gervonta Davis situation. Okay, we all know that's highly publicized. Then you had another issue with one of his fighters. I don't remember the individual's name, who got very angry about the fact that Floyd Mayweather leaked a sparring session tape that they had together, and he didn't appreciate that. I guess there was some type of NDA, or which is a non-disclosure agreement, or a promise that Floyd made to that fighter, say he would not release that tape, but he did it anyway, obviously because of his ego. I mean, we all know Floyd has an ego, but it is what it is, okay? But I don't think that's much of a big deal, in my opinion, because sparring sessions always get released. Unless there is, again, if there was an agreement involved that they wouldn't release that tape, then I can see why the individual was upset. Very similar to the Paul Malignaggi and the Conor McGregor situation, where Paulie was promised that tape would be released, and McGregor's team released it so that way they can make McGregor look good, and Paulie didn't appreciate that. All right, so that's one instance. And now more so recently, you have Ishe Smith, who at this point is a high-level journeyman, let's be real here, former champion, who's came out and pretty much indirectly blasted Floyd on Twitter for saying, "Look, it's funny that promoters like to walk the walk, but they don't talk. They like to talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk most of the time. They promise you things, they promise you the world, but you don't get it." So this is pretty much what he said on his Twitter or Instagram post, okay? So, and let's take this into account here, is that Floyd's promotion is not that huge at all. It's only got less, it's got at least about more than 20 fighters, I believe. That's about it. Or probably less than that now that, Savannah Marshall and Ashley Theophane are no longer with the organization, okay? And now, with the whole Javante Davis situation, it looks like, Javante Davis is ready to, to part ways with Floyd Mayweather Promotions if the way things are going, and how that relationship is souring by the day. The irony about this whole situation is that we all recall many years ago that Floyd Mayweather came out publicly and said that how he felt he was undervalued, he was undermarketed, or he was underpaid, which meant pretty much undervalued means all two things at once, by Bob Arum. And he felt that fighters need to be treated better than how he was treated, They need to be better, you need to be put in a better position. So, which is all commendable for him to say what he said, but now it seems like now he's put on his Promoters Act. He's almost behaving like he is Bob Arum to some degree, based off what's going on with Floyd Mayweather Promotions. Okay, look, he as a boss now knows that business is business, okay? So he understands the situation, and you can't make every fighter happy. I get that logic. I understand that. But the problem is that you don't have a big stable, and you got more than a handful of fighters who've come out and complained against you publicly. That is an issue. That is a huge problem. Why? Because it sets the standard now that when other fighters are looking to sign with other promotions, or even managers by that matter, if they look at the problems that's going on with Mayweather Promotions, then they're not going to be keen on signing with Floyd and his group. They're not going to be keen on that. All right. And let's be real here. Floyd's biggest moneymakers are Badu Jack and Javante Davis by that matter. I mean, they're not huge draws, but they are his biggest moneymakers. And you have one of your biggest moneymakers who's unhappy about his situation with Mayweather Promotions, and that is a major issue that will become further prevalent to the landscape of boxing. So my advice to Floyd is that, man, you don't want to end up like before I get into that, is that my advice to you is that you're going to have to keep your internal problems. You're going to have to keep these problems internally and, under the radar, I should say. You're going to have to really keep them under the radar, because if they continue to come out the way they are publicly, then Mayweather Promotions can end up like SMS. Remember, and that's the reason why I posted this pic here. SMS Promotions was guided and owned by 50 Cent. And remember that 50 Cent had at least a handful of fighters who came out and complained about the fact that they were promised they said they didn't get. James Kirkland, you had your boys Gamboa, and Andre Durrell. And the Andre Durrell situation was very unique because he signed Durrell and he didn't even fight. Durrell didn't even have one fight on 50 Cent's roster on his promotion. Not one fight at all. And Durrell was very inactive due to that situation. And the fact that Gamboa even had to take SMS Promotions to court because of certain violations that were certain provisions were breached under his contract, as he claimed. So it's, from the looks of it, it's almost, Mayweather Promotions is almost heading that path. I don't think they're quite there yet when it comes to SMS, but as far as on the brink of collapse, no, I don't think so. As I mentioned, I don't think it's on the brink of collapse, but the way things are going, they could be heading that way. So again, my advice is just clean this up real quickly. Otherwise, you're not going to have much of promotion left, Floyd. Let's be real. All right, so yeah, I mean, that's about it. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the situation. Yeah, Floyd just need to fix this pronto. So let me know what your thoughts about this. I'm out.